Come on. This is gonna take a second, everybody. Just hang tight with me. This is gonna be cool once it. Oh, here we go. I promise this will be cool once it actually happens. And what's with the fuzzy? I swear I can't focus correctly. Okay. What's up, everybody, and welcome. My name is Brett Martineau, and welcome to the 1T Unlimited Facebook page. Also, if you happen to be on YouTube and for some reason you happen to find my profile, you might actually be watching this live on YouTube as well. This is this cool little app that I'm using that allows me to stream live to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And in fact, so if you saw the setup here, how I have this whole thing configured, it's the jankiest thing ever, but it's actually kind of cool because I can go and check and make sure that my stream is working. Well, kind of. The phone is on the laptop screen. Anyway, as I'm doing that, I just want to introduce what I want to talk about today is important to me, and it has been for quite some time. It's a concept that I think we don't talk about often enough. And the idea is value. Okay? Value. Forgive my terrible handwriting. Now, we talk a lot, I want to talk about value specifically for consultants and agencies inside the Infusionsoft space, because I think that's kind of my arena. That's where I play and have been there for a long, long time. And so as you'll hear, me spouting how long I've been in the space is ironic considering what I'm about to say. But I've been around a long enough time to kind of get an understanding of the way that we do things, right? The way that we price ourselves, the way that we give out the perceived value, the way that we project our value. And I think there's something a little bit broken with it. And let me see if I can explain this. Actually, the way that I'm going to explain this is I'm going to show you a little picture. I want to tell you a little story. Right? So imagine for a second, it's actually going to take longer than a second, but imagine that you are a fighter. And it just so happens that the picture that I picked is Muay Thai. I actually know this guy, and as a side note, he's reffed, I think, 2 of my fights. So anyway, has nothing to do with anything. That was on a stock photo thing, and I was like, oh, cool. Anyway, so say you're going to take a fight, right? And you've been training for a little while, and you're fairly experienced. And you come into the ring, step into the ring, the ref says you're ready to fight, and the bell rings, and it's time to go. And let's say you're this guy here, and your opponent is this guy here. And you stop everybody as soon as the bell rings, and you say, guys, we don't even need to do this. I won. I mean, I totally won. You can just give me the belt. Give me the trophy. I won. Raise my hand. It's all good. And the ref's like, wait, we haven't even fought yet. How could you possibly have won? And you're like, no, I'm going to win. We all know that I'm going to win. My opponent, he's only been training for 2 years, and I've been training for 6. And the ref's like, so? Everyone in the audience is like, what is going on? And you're like, no, like, I'm totally going to win, right? He's only fought twice, and I fought 7 times. And you're like, so? Like, you haven't even fought yet. How do you know that you're going to win? You can't know that. Well, I'm not just going to give you the belt just because you say you're going to win. And you're like, no, you don't understand. He's only won 1 of his fights, so he's 1-1. I've won 4 of my fights, so I'm 4-3. And still, the ref and the judges and everyone's like, what is going on? That's not the way that it works. You fight, and then we decide who won. You don't just decide who won based on tallying up your experience or your record or how long you've been training. And you're like, no, you don't understand. I have all this stuff. I've been training for this fight. I know I'm going to win. I've been training for this fight for 8 months. And this guy took the fight 3 weeks ago. And it's still, everyone's like, dude, that's not how it works. Okay, so let's go back over here and talk for a second about that. And I apologize. I'm about to sneeze. Whew, embarrassing. Live video sneeze. Boom. So let's break that down for a second. So the first guy, let's say, and we'll put me in that situation as well. You are banking on your ability to win based on your experience. So let's call that value. So the value is ability to win. Your value is equal to your experience. And I apologize for my terrible handwriting. And so what you're saying, what the perception that what you're trying to project onto the crowd, onto the ref, onto your opponent, is that because I am more experienced, I have more value, and therefore I should win. Okay. When in reality, we know this is I like this example because it's fairly obvious that that's not the way that it works. In reality, the truth is your value or your ability to win has nothing to do with your experience. It has everything to do with your performance. Okay? And for the sake of what I'm going to talk about in a second, performance means results. What happens during the fight? Okay. That's really where your value comes from. It has nothing to do with your experience. It has everything to do with what you do during the fight. What result you're able to generate, what you're able to actually do. So, let's make the metaphor now into a real conversation. Let's talk about what we're actually talking about here. So, in this space, more often than not, and for good reason, which we'll talk about in a second, but more often than not, consultants, I apologize, that is really embarrassing and really disgusting, but I got to be able to talk. Consultants and freelancers and agencies, the first thing that they're going to sell when it comes to projecting their value, I say that a lot, projecting their value, is their experience. How long have they been around? Who have they worked with? And that seems to be a lot of a lot of what we talk about a lot. I do the same thing myself. I know I catch myself doing this all the time. In fact, if you see any of my bios anywhere, it starts out with me saying I'm a 15-year veteran of the space, right? I think it's an important thing to understand the experience because that gives you that helps people understand what you're capable of in general, but it doesn't help people understand what you're capable of for their business in their particular situation. Okay, so let's talk about this. So I'm going to take you through the way that the way that I pitch myself. Okay, so the first thing I say is 15-year veteran. Again, I apologize for the handwriting. The second thing I say is worked with over 500 businesses. Which is true. I've been doing this a long time, worked with a lot of people. And that I know of, I've generated over, that's it. I love that I can do that. Generated over $250 million in revenue. That I know of. Obviously, I didn't do that myself. It wasn't my product. I can't really claim all of that as mine, but I built the campaigns that helped do that. Okay, the structure, the infrastructure of it. This right here is vastly more important, or should be vastly more important to you as an agency or as a consultant and to every business owner than this. Because in truth, when it comes down to this, 15-year vet means absolutely nothing in a fight. Let's say this guy not for 6 years, but 15. This guy's been fighting for 15 years. Okay? And this guy's been fighting for 3. What are the actual odds, objectively speaking, what are the actual odds that this person, the 3-year vet, can beat the 15-year vet? Probably not great, but it is always possible for the 3-year vet to win against the 15-year vet. Lots of stuff happens. You can't predict everything. And it's the same thing in marketing. You can't predict everything that's going to happen. Hey, Clint just mentioned me in a comment. What's up, Clint? I can't see what the comment is. I'll have to respond to it afterwards. But I did get it. So you can see there, I did get it. The important thing is you can't bank on your experience being able to carry you forward when it comes to your perceived value. And so what I'm speaking about here, and what's important is that for you as an agency or you as a business owner going to hire an agency, you need to think about this. Your ability to your ability as an agency to generate revenue is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters. Right? How long somebody's been around, who they've spoken to, who they've worked with, all that kind of stuff is ancillary. It doesn't actually help you. What helps you is a business owner's ability to make money. So here, and I understand we've been taught as consultants that we need to leverage our experience and we need to price ourselves into a position where we can create that leverage and we can make more money, not have to work with as many people, not get burnt out. Right? There's a whole slew of advice that's good advice that teaches us to price prohibitively in that sense because we want to only work with the people that we want to work with. The problem is, I think, it's a problem of integrity. Now, before I move forward at all, I want everybody who's an agency owner, everybody who's a business owner, I want you to understand, I'm not really calling anyone to task here. I'm just airing a thought here. And I have this idea. I don't know that pricing too high, or pricing, not too high, but pricing high is necessarily against any sort of moral code. I don't know that it's unintegral. There's a word I'm looking for that I can't find, but I don't know that there's no integrity in pricing high. Right? That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is we don't think about, am I pricing based on an actual ability to generate results? Right? And when I have these conversations with my customers, am I confident that this is what the result is going to be? Am I creating a situation based on my ability to create results? And am I incentivized to create results? Or am I not incentivized at all to do anything because I have the experience? I knew it was going to be too big, so I had to just abbreviate it there. Is my sales pitch based around how much I've done in the past, or is it actually based on my ability to generate results? And the interesting thing is, you can't know until you start. That's where it's awkward. That's why it's hard for agencies and for business owners to do this, to actually have this conversation, as opposed to, well, I have a lot of experience and this is what I've done before, and so my value is X, Y, Z. This is what the perceived value of what you're getting. Because the only way you can actually know how much money you're going to generate for somebody is by starting. You got to do something. So you still have that, now you get the chicken and the egg situation where you have to decide, are you going to do something for free until you can figure something out? Are you going to do a low-cost thing? The way that I've done it, I apologize again. It's ridiculous. I should have just stopped it and started it over again, but we're too far in now. Too far in. We got to keep going. What I've done, and I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is one way that I've tried to overcome this, is I offer a fairly, we'll go back to fighting and talk about that a little bit more. I offer a fairly low-cost offering. It's like an audit thing where I'll dig into everything that you have going and I'll give you recommendations. It's easier for me to price that based on my experience because I know that I can find the data to be able to present recommendations. So it's not about, I'm not really selling my ability to create results, and the end result isn't results for the business. It's a plan. It's an understanding. It's a snapshot of how things work. So that low-cost offering, which for what you get, for the speed, for how fast you get it and all that kind of stuff, is really low cost. That leads to my ability to go super deep in a business because I look at everything. I look at their website. I look at the way Infusionsoft is performing or whatever marketing automation platform they're using. I look at their social posting. I look at their ads account, everything. Because I want to have two things. Number one, I want to give them a good report. I want to tell them really how their business is working. But also, I want to have a good idea of whether working with them in the long term is going to generate results for them. Because if it turns out that there's not a huge demand, or the demand is in such a small niche that targeting is going to become an issue, and then I'm going to have to spend all my time trying to mix and match and get the targeting right on the advertising and et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to come in and charge the rates that I can justify based on experience, again, because I only know I'm going to be able to get a small return. Okay. In fact, this is a huge thing that I struggle with every day. I'm extremely conscious with all of my clients. Am I generating a return that exceeds the amount of money they're paying for me to be on staff. That's the important thing. My value, my own perceived value with myself is really wrapped up in, if I charge somebody this, how much am I making for them? Because it better at least be this. And really, if I'm saying I'm as valuable as I am, it can't be this. This is just breaking even. What it should be is this. Right? The only way I can really say that I'm valuable in any sense of the word is not by saying, and in fact, it's not even, this is how much money I've generated, because I haven't told anybody how much I charge the person to generate that money. Which, in truth, a big portion of that money came from that exact low-cost same thing that I sold, and the guy sort of took off and didn't want to work with me moving forward, and so he ended up, and this is absolutely 100% true, he went on to turn on this thing, and when I turned it on initially, it was doing about $1.2 million a month. Yeah. And I charged him $1,000 to set it up. Right? Because I didn't know what it was going to do. I didn't know that it was going to become that in the long term. But for me, from the integrity standpoint, I wanted to make sure that was what that I took that into account. Right? So this is the important thing. Value has very, very little to do with experience. Your value as a resource in the digital marketing space has to do with your ability to take this and turn it into this. That's it. It's all about result. It's all about performance. So just like in the fight, instead of standing up in a crowded room with a bunch of people paying attention and saying, I already know that I'm better than this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, because of what I've done in the past, because of how I performed against other people in the past, think about it instead as a challenge. Every new customer that you get, and as a business owner, I think it's important for business owners to be paying attention to this thought too, because from your side, you want to make sure that you're approaching this not as a sort of a passive participant that's sort of taking what anybody says as gospel, but understanding that you, even if let's say if the business owner is the ref, right? He's going to have to judge whether this guy wins or this guy wins. Again, not based on their experience, not based on what they tell you, but based on what they actually do in that fight. What can they actually do for you as a business owner? And as an agency, what can you actually do for somebody? What is your ability to take, I'm going to say it again, because it's very important, to take this, I'll put an extra line in there, and turn it into this. That's your value. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Stick around. I mean, not literally stick around, because it's not going to happen like right now. But over the course of time, more of these videos will be coming. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and we will talk to you later. And now you get to awkwardly watch me turn off the live stream, because I don't actually know how to do it, so it's going to take me a little while. So let's go here. Oh, see? Boom. Come on. Yeah, I don't even know how to do this. Move my video. Stop.